between a man and his meal. I never forgot that either. Most niggas would have to run the streets for years to learn a lesson that profound. It took me 2 seconds. Never get between somebody and their paper. Taking a man's livelihood away from him is akin to killing him.
Dave Chappelle recently shared what he claims are receipts indicating that Shannon Sharpe's lawsuit may have been orchestrated, and the details are quite unexpected. As many are aware, Shannon was recently taken to court by a Jane Doe who accused him of repeated harassment. That woman is believed to be Gabrielle Zuniga. However, according to Dave, she might have support from powerful individuals who could be trying to bring down Club Shay Shay. It's well known that Shannon has disclosed private details about various celebrities on his podcast, which may explain why some people would want to see the show come to an end. Matters have grown more complex, with speculation suggesting Shannon might have resorted to blackmail, specifically by gathering compromising information about notable figures during podcast recordings and using it as leverage. Now, his streak of success could be under threat, and with Dave Chappelle stepping into the conversation, more revelations could be on the horizon. So, which celebrities did Shannon Sharpe reportedly attempt to blackmail? One thing about Dave Chappelle is clear: while he's a comedian, he has a reputation for telling the truth. When Club Shay Shay started rising in popularity, Dave was one of the first to warn Shannon about going too far in revealing celebrity secrets. Hosting guests is one thing, but over time, the podcast began to resemble a platform aimed at exposing influential people in entertainment. And if there's one thing many celebrities dislike, it's being publicly exposed, especially by one of their peers. When Cat Williams appeared on Club Shay Shay last year in what became a viral episode, Dave openly expressed his concerns. He asked, "What part of the game is this?" and pointed out that Cat only targeted black entertainers, not white ones. Dave praised Cat's abilities, calling him one of the most gifted talents in comedy, but questioned why Cat consistently portrayed his fellow black performers in a negative light. Hurt people, Dave said, but I've been hurt too, and I've never turned around and hurt others. Cat, on the other hand, does this often. Dave also implied that Cat's behavior was causing real harm to the careers of other black comedians. He stated, "If you knew my story, it would break your heart. I lost everything but never exposed anyone." Meanwhile, Cat acts like he's the one with the moral high ground. Although Dave said he respects Cat, he raised serious concerns about the morality of damaging another black entertainer's career and publicly calling them out. It's not difficult to see why some celebrities started to feel uneasy with Shannon. It's one thing to face backlash from fans or get caught up in online gossip, but it's something else entirely when a fellow celebrity uses their platform to broadcast those criticisms. That's when issues of respect and loyalty started coming into question. Many viewers will recall the Cat Williams interview. It made a significant impact as 2024 approached, setting off a wave of discussions across the industry. With over 80 million views, it remains the most watched podcast episode on the platform. However, the content didn't sit well with certain celebrities, and that's when Shannon Sharpe's challenges began to escalate. To be fair, Cat didn't hold back during that appearance. Some observers felt his tone hinted at bitterness, especially considering the setbacks he had faced in recent years. Critics speculated that his comments might have been fueled by envy or lingering frustration. One of the first figures he took aim at was Cedric the Entertainer, accusing him of lifting material from other comedians and presenting it as his own.
Nobody knows why liars lie, and that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Cat Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. Like, what doesn't line up? This is a televised joke that Mark Curry helped me punch up and get to the level that it was. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had.
Cat didn't merely suggest Cedric lacked originality. He directly implied that Cedric's career had been built on jokes he allegedly didn't write, possibly borrowing or even taking material from his peers.
Cedric sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach sitting over here. Why I'm not a movie star. What?
It's a situation.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
Right.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad that they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
You don't think Sam's a good comedian?
The world doesn't think that, sir. I have 12 comedy specials. He has 4 specials that are not available on Netflix or Tubi.
As expected, Cedric didn't take the accusation lightly. He addressed it on Instagram. Revision is history. Regardless of Kat's claims, one joke doesn't define my legacy. I've been in over 40 films, delivered multiple stand-up specials, and built a recognizable brand. I've also helped launch careers including Cat in the Hat at the Gibson Amphitheater. That tough talk, it's just tired. I'm an adult, and this won't unfold how you expect. You take care of yours, I'll take care of mine. Cedric wasn't the only one to respond. Kevin Hart also weighed in on social media, calling Kat a straight-up clown and suggesting he was more suited for the circus. Many found Kevin's response justified, considering the bold accusations Kat had directed at him as well. Kat accused Kevin of being inauthentic, suggesting that his public persona was carefully curated and didn't fully reflect who he truly was. In Kat's view, Kevin's rise to fame was less about raw talent and more about savvy branding and media positioning.
In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
To be fair, Kat's criticism didn't come out of nowhere. The tension between the two goes back years. Much of their conflict stems from Kat's frequent claims that he was sidelined in the industry for refusing to conform and for being outspoken. About Hollywood practices, Kevin, however, saw things differently. Speaking on The Breakfast Club, he argued that Kat wasn't pushed out for telling the truth, but rather because he was often hard to work with and lacked consistency. So, while Kevin's remarks were sharp, they weren't entirely without foundation.
I also take full responsibility for any and everything that I've done in business, good or bad. My frustration with Cat Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Cat was in that position at one
You
point.
were the guy. You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You off promo shoots. You off your promo trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studio stopped with you.
Why was he at risk?
He chose
Oh, okay.
take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what, I gotta fix me, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna stand up for comedy. So when you say
When Kat later shared personal grievances during his Club Shay Shay interview, many interpreted it as a direct response to Kevin's earlier statements. Kevin, however, stood firm. He reiterated his previous comment, once again referring to Kat as a clown better suited for a circus.
Hey, Kev, you didn't say nothing to Cat Williams when he did a 3-hour interview talking slow yesterday. You didn't put a shot clock on him.
Well, do you entertain the circus or do you watch it, Perk? Which one do you do? What do you do? You watch it. You go, man, look at that lion riding the bike. That's what you say.
As expected, the interview stirred significant controversy. Both Shannon Sharpe and Cat Williams faced sustained backlash on social media for several weeks. Rapper Maze also joined the conversation, accusing Shannon of displaying anti-black sentiments. He pointed to what he considered a noticeable imbalance in Shannon's commentary, highlighting how outspoken he is on issues involving the Black community while appearing far less critical when similar issues involve white individuals.
Thirdly, you call yourself coming at me, right? You want to be aggressive with me, right? Listen, you showed poise, respect, wherewithal, resolve, compassion, reverence for Skip Bayless. Why are you so aggressive anytime somebody Black say something? The man said, put your glasses on, and you put your glasses back on. Don't play with me. Put your glasses back on, Shannon.
By the time Kat's interview aired, many viewers had already started questioning both Shannon and the direction of his podcast. But the situation escalated even further when Monique joined the show. Shannon was already walking a fine line, and Monique's decision to name Tyler Perry and Oprah directly intensified speculation that Shannon was disproportionately targeting high-profile Black public figures. That particular episode only solidified growing concerns. Much like Kat, Monique didn't pull any punches. She openly criticized Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Kevin Hart, expressing long-standing frustrations with each. Her issues with Oprah and Tyler originated from her decision not to promote Precious beyond the terms of her contract, particularly without additional compensation. She maintained that she had fulfilled her contractual duties, and once she declined to participate in unpaid press events, the situation deteriorated quickly. In Hollywood, being blackballed has serious consequences. Once influential names like Oprah and Tyler Perry distance themselves from someone, others in the industry often follow suit. Monique found herself isolated, as many feared that associating with her could hurt their own careers. Even so, Monique claimed that Kevin Hart initially showed support. She said he acted as a true friend, offering encouragement when she needed it most. His support seemed sincere, which made what followed more painful. According to her, Kevin later cut ties without explanation, and rather than communicating directly, he had others handle the situation. What made things worse, she alleged, was the existence of audio where Kevin is heard speaking negatively about her in an effort to maintain a good relationship with Tyler Perry.
With you, yes. And I need to get it off my chest early.
Because that's why I'm looking at you now, like, why are you going into that? Because I told you we could not talk till I dealt with you.
Okay,
listen, okay. So let me say this to you. The day I watched Skip Bayless lose himself with you, and that's what he did. He lost himself. And when I watched Skip Bayless say to you, put them goddamn glasses back on, boy. Now, I know he didn't say goddamn and boy, but that's what everybody heard. And I was waiting for you to snatch his ass across that table, baby, and give it to him. I was like, Shannon, this is the perfect time. I don't condone violence.
Right.
I don't say be violent. But that day, I was in my feelings for 2 days. Me and my grandbaby could not watch you for 2 days. And my husband had to say, Mama, let's talk about this. Look at Shannon Sharpe. He retired in 2004, but he could still get on that field and run touchdowns, tackles, everything.
Given all this, it's not surprising that Club Shay Shay hasn't been warmly received by many celebrities. Even DL Hughley voiced criticism, accusing Shannon of fostering a platform where guests feel empowered to share questionable or misleading stories about others in the industry.
Well, Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. So Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that.
And just when things seemed complicated enough, new claims began to circulate. Rumors suggest that Shannon may be using sensitive information collected during podcast recordings to allegedly blackmail certain celebrities. Reports suggest that Shannon allegedly edits out the most sensitive portions of interviews and retains them for possible leverage. While these claims haven't been verified, if proven accurate, they could shed light on why certain individuals appear intent on dismantling his platform. The timing of the lawsuit is also raising eyebrows. It was filed just 1 day before the public learned that Shannon was in discussions for a new club Shay Shay deal reportedly valued at over $100 million. This came after his prior agreement with Colin Cowherd's Volume podcast network ended. The timing appears strategic, particularly if someone wanted to halt the podcast's momentum altogether. Shannon's legal team made a similar point, stating that the plaintiff was aware of Shannon's upcoming contract negotiations and used that knowledge to their advantage. They characterized the lawsuit as a clear case of extortion, carefully timed to apply maximum pressure. The complaint, filed by a woman identified as Jane Doe, accuses Shannon of emotionally manipulative and controlling conduct. She alleges that he assaulted her on 2 separate occasions in October 2024 and again in January 2005, despite her repeated efforts to get him to stop. The filing describes alleged threats and physical abuse, with the plaintiff stating that Shannon ignored her pleas even as she cried and screamed. She also noted that their relationship began when she was 19 years old, while Shannon was 50. In addition, she claims that Shannon secretly recorded their private moments, supposedly for his own use, but later shared those recordings with others. To make matters more complex, her legal team alleges that Shannon and his associates offered her $10 million to avoid court proceedings, a claim that Shannon's lawyer later acknowledged. Whether this offer was meant to conceal misconduct or simply to protect his reputation is still being debated. The woman, now identified as Gabrielle Zuniga, is being represented by attorney Tony Busby. Busby stated that his office contacted Shannon in early February on behalf of Zuniga, exploring the option of settling the matter discreetly. Over the following 6 weeks, there were multiple discussions, including a formal mediation session. During this process, Shannon, represented by a different legal team, allegedly proposed a significant financial settlement. However, Zuniga declined the offer and decided to proceed with the lawsuit. Busby pointed out what he viewed as an inconsistency. On one hand, Shannon's representatives argue the claims are without merit. On the other, they offered $10 million to prevent the lawsuit from being filed. Busby confirmed the authenticity of the offer and stated that Zuniga chose to reject it in favor of legal action. He also mentioned that since then, Shannon's team has not only tried to discredit his client, but has also begun targeting him directly as her attorney. In response, Shannon's legal team issued a statement and began sharing past text messages, allegedly sent by Jane Doe. These texts contain explicit language and suggestive content, including references to sexual acts and provocative proposals. These messages are being presented to challenge the claims in the lawsuit and to question the nature of their relationship. The primary statement from Shannon's attorney said, "The lawsuit filed by Gabriella Zuniga and her attorney Tony Busby is a deliberate attempt to coerce Mr. Sharpe into a large financial settlement." Ms. Zuniga provided Mr. Sharpe with a secretly recorded video of an intimate, consensual encounter. "We believe this footage has been heavily edited and taken out of context to distort a consensual situation," they added. "The evidence shows this was a consensual adult relationship involving role play, explicit language, and fantasy scenarios." Initiated by Ms. Zuniga, the selectively edited video and previous text messages wrongly suggest the act was non-consensual. Mr. Sharpe strongly denies any coercion or wrongdoing, including the false and serious assault allegations. He refuses to give in to what he sees as blatant blackmail. Mr. Sharpe is committed to revealing the truth and will defend himself in court. He looks forward to clearing his name through the legal process. Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, responded by emphasizing that the messages released by Sharpe's team were sent before the alleged incidents. He said, "Every message published today by Mr. Sharpe's legal team, supposedly from Jane Doe, was sent before the serious event described in the lawsuit. These releases are a clear attempt to distract from the real accusations, but it will not succeed." Busby also shared another text from Jane Doe, in which she wrote, "I cried when you left because I asked you to use protection and not go there and you didn't listen. I don't care about our past. No means no, Shannon. I'm struggling to understand this." Sharpe is reported to have replied, asking if he could call her. The revelations didn't stop there. Busby also released an audio clip allegedly capturing Shannon making threatening remarks, including a threat to choke Gabriella.
"I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like..."
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so
I don't want to be, don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you. You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
In a separate recording, Shannon can allegedly be heard describing a large black man choking a small white woman. Gabriella says, "Well, I'm not really into being choked, so I guess we're done here," to which the Voice reportedly Sharpe responds, "Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman."
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
Following the clip's release, Tony Busby commented, "This recording is disturbing. It is not playful, it's aggressive, alarming, and unsafe." He added that the audio helps explain why Jane Doe felt forced to leave Nevada and cut off all contact with Shannon. As noted earlier, this case is very complex. Considering Dave Chappelle's recent remarks suggesting this is a coordinated attempt to take Shannon down, the timing certainly seems intentional. The last thing Shannon's opponents would want is for him to secure a $100 million platform where he might disclose even more. There's a lot developing here, so share your opinions on Dave Chappelle's comments in the section below and be sure to watch the next video.